For some time, I've been looking for a basket that would retain the classic VST character, but would be better than it in some way. After many months of consideration, I finally bought two baskets, the Pesado AP and the Pullman 876. In this video, I'm comparing these baskets to the VST basket from my first comparison. Which one is better for espresso, and what are the real differences? All baskets are made of stainless steel, but their finish varies slightly. For example, the Pesado EP is the only electro-polished basket, which sets it apart from the Pullman 876 and VST. According to Pesado, electropolishing allows for polishing in areas inaccessible to standard polishing methods. I don't know what effect this actually has on espresso extraction, but it sounds cool. All of these baskets are magnetic, but the VST is by far the strongest. Next is the Pesado EP, which is a bit less magnetic. And finally, the Pullman 876, still magnetic, but noticeably less so. All the baskets I'm using here are ridgeless, although the VST is also available in a ridged version. In terms of variants, the VST is available in 58mm, only for 15 grams, 18 grams, 20 grams, 22 grams, and 25 grams doses. The Pullman 876 is available in 58mm only, for 15 to 17 grams, 17 to 19 grams, 19 to 22 grams, 22 to 25 grams, and 25 to 28 grams doses. And the Pesado EP is available in 54mm for 18 grams and 20 grams doses, as well as 58mm for 18 grams, 20 grams, and 22 grams doses. All baskets have a very similar design and a slight taper at the bottom. However, I noticed one interesting difference. While the VST and Pullman have an internal diameter of 58.5mm, the Pesado EP has an even larger diameter of 58.8mm. The other differences are in the weight of the baskets. The Pullman 876 is by far the heaviest, weighing 34.8 grams. The VST weighs 34.1 grams, and the Pesado EP weighs a surprisingly light 27.1 grams. I believe the Pesado EP's walls are thinner than those of the VST and Pullman 876, which explains the larger inner diameter and lower weight. The manufacturer's logos and basket markings are placed on the outer walls of the baskets. Only the Pullman basket has an additional logo and a suggested dose indication inside the basket. In my opinion, this is completely unnecessary. Interestingly, the vast majority of photos of the Pesado EP basket on the manufacturer's official website differ from the final product. This surprised me a bit, as it turned out the Pesado EP has a more classic design. Hey, if you found this video helpful, consider subscribing to my channel and leaving a like. It really helps the video reach more people and supports the growth of the channel. Thanks! The most interesting aspect for me is what directly affects extraction: the holes. And this is where the differences, at least on paper, are the biggest. The VST basket has 727 holes, the Pullman has 876 holes, and the Pesado EP has 936 holes. All of these baskets have precise holes, but only the Pullman has laser cut holes, which further enhances their precision. The holes in all baskets have a similar diameter of approximately 0.3mm. What does this mean in practice? Assuming the hole sizes are the same, more holes require a finer grind and mean greater extraction. What's interesting here is that in the Pesado EP basket, the holes go almost all the way to the rim, so you get a slightly larger perforated area. With VST and Pullman, there's a bit more empty space near the rim where there are no holes. Let's see how these baskets actually affect the flavor of espresso. No extraction percentages, no refractometer. I'll just do an espresso taste test. In this comparison, I am using a medium roast coffee from Peru. Due to its smaller number of holes, the VST basket requires a grind setting that is approximately 1 to 1.5 marks coarser on the DF64V grinder scale compared to the Pullman 876 and Pesado EP baskets. As usual, I use a pre-infusion at 3 bar, then increase the pressure to 9 bar, and in the final stage of extraction, I gradually reduce it to 6 bar. In this test, the Pullman 876 is the most stable. The Pesado AP is right behind and it also looks good. The VST performs slightly worse, but that's likely due to the puck prep and the fact that this basket has been used the longest. The extraction time in each case is approximately 33 seconds. Let's focus on the taste. I have to admit that it is very difficult to clearly determine which espresso is better. I have carried out many tests before, and I still cannot point to a clear winner. When it comes to flavor intensity, the VST basket is slightly less pronounced compared to the Pullman 876 and Pesado EP. The difference is subtle, but already noticeable. The VST is a bit more restrained, with slightly less body. Acidity is very similar across all baskets. In fact, all of these baskets share a very similar flavor profile. The Pullman 876 and Pesado EP offer slightly more body, with nutty and chocolate notes being more clearly expressed. Bitterness remains subtle and does not reach the point where unpleasant, harsher bitter notes begin to extract. Something I occasionally experienced with, for example, the DEX basket. While the differences between the VST and the Pesado EP or Pullman 876 are noticeable, it is genuinely difficult to clearly determine which basket produces better espresso when comparing Pesado and Pullman directly. In theory, the Pesado EP basket should deliver higher extraction than the Pullman 876. But in practice, the flavor differences are very small. Sometimes I prefer the espresso from the Pesado, and other times from the Pullman. It turns out that the bigger differences lie in the basket's construction and ease of cleaning, rather than in extraction itself. Even the grind size is very similar and often identical for both of these baskets. I no longer use the VST as my primary basket, as both the Pullman 876 and the Pesado EP deliver a better, slightly more intense flavor. I currently alternate between these two baskets for everyday brewing. Cleaning all 3 baskets is essentially the same. Simply knock out the puck, rinse the basket with hot water from the group, and wipe it with a cloth to remove any remaining coffee residue. The only difference is that it is slightly easier to knock out the puck from the Pesado EP, most likely due to its electropolished finish. The holes in these baskets do not clog as easily as in high extraction baskets with smaller holes. To sum up, I believe that both the Pesado EP and the Pullman 876 are solid, albeit subtle, upgrades over the VST basket. Which basket should you choose? Well, it largely depends on which one is more readily available in your region. Pesado baskets are less accessible outside of Australia and the United States due to high shipping costs and import duties. Pullman and VST, on the other hand, have a much wider global distribution network, making them easier to obtain for the average consumer. For this reason, the Pullman 876 is likely the safest overall choice. However, when considering extraction and espresso flavor alone, both the Pullman 876 and the Pesado EP are excellent options and slightly more interesting than the VST. The VST basket still produces very good espresso in a classic style, but I think the Pullman and Pesado are slightly better. I'm curious to hear about your experiences with espresso baskets. Have you had the chance to compare these 3? Feel free to join the discussion in the comments section. Thanks for watching and see you soon!